So basically, I want to talk about vision, right? I want to talk about the difference between what we consider to be vision and what we consider to be fantasy, right? What is the differences, right? Is it quantifiable, right? Is a vision quantifiable? How do you determine whether it's a vision or a fantasy? How do you determine whether it's something that you should turn into a goal and actively work towards it? Or should you be more realistic, right? People like say, well, that doesn't happen for most people, so I need to be realistic, right? But what is realistic? Because that's not something that's really quantifiable either, right? That's a very opinionated thing. And basically, what I want to talk about is why vision is so important, and the fact of vision is so important because it gives you power that most people don't have. And typically you'll have dreams, and if you pay attention to your dreams and you buy into your dreams, they turn into vision. And then you work towards your vision as a goal, and your vision, those dreams, turn into a reality. Right? And that's how it works. That's why people become millionaires, billionaires, movie stars. People go on to achieve incredible things. You have people like a Bill Gates or a Steve Jobs or an Oprah Winfrey, a Gandhi, right? A Martin Luther King. People who achieve amazing things against all odds, right? Because they had a dream, they pursued it as a vision and a goal, and the next thing you know, it became a reality. So basically now what a vision does is, when you have vision and you believe your vision enough, it gives you a sense of purpose. And that sense of purpose is the thing that gives you the power, right? The sense of purpose allows you to get up at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. A sense of purpose allows you to push past pain, discomfort, failure, right? Setbacks. A sense of purpose allows you to be happy and consistently motivated and inspired to go after a certain goal, right? Now the problem is that you come across many people in our society, in this machine that we live in, having a sense of purpose is rare, right? Some people work their ass off simply out of habit, right? Well, I'm just used to doing that, right? People are just used to being conditioned in a certain way, so they just kind of go off autopilot, and they never get to stop and say, what does that dream mean? I keep having this dream. What does that mean? Should I pursue that? Because it's like, oh, go to work, 9 to 5, come home, cook, do it again. And so we're so heavily subscribing to repetition, monotony, right? This revolving or chronological order of our lives. And so when something disrupts that pattern of monotony, like dreams, and it's something wild, it's something big, and it's scary, and it's not average, people say, well, that doesn't happen for most people, and so I need to be realistic. So the dream that could have led to the vision gets written off as a fantasy. And this is where failure begins, right? Because now you've failed to find your sense of purpose because you never manifested and properly bought into your dreams, turned them into a vision, worked towards them as a goal, to live them as a reality. This whole process didn't happen because you wrote off the dream as a fantasy. So basically, now, my personal experience with dreams is a dream that I had ever since I was a teenager, like 13, 14 years old, right? And to anybody who knows anything about me or have heard me talk about my social life and how I got started very late, right, having friends in a social life and all that kind of stuff, but I was a lone wolf, right? I was like this oddball kid where I was charismatic in my own right, but I wasn't interested in being popular. I wasn't interested in getting along with everyone because I understood it wasn't possible. I only meshed well with people who had a certain level of curiosity, people who saw things that most people did not see, right? Things that would provoke people to call you weird, right? So I got along with all the weird kids, all the quirky ones, right? All the comic book nerds and stuff like that. And my dream was this lone wolf, oddball kid is just completely turned off by the current system and things because he realizes it's not natural and something's not right. And it's kind of like if someone farts and you're the only one who smells it, you know you're like, does anybody notice that? And no one else knows it. It's like, well, how do you people not smell that? It's terrible. Well, this is what he's going through. And the system that we're living in is the slow collapse of man, right? Because humankind has developed the machine so much that the machine has now surpassed the evolution of man, in which in turn the machine has enslaved man. And so he realizes this, and at some point in time he learns how to leave the machine. He learns how to just walk away from it, the sociological, economical machine. He figures out how to leave this current reality, and he leaves his friends and family and experiences this other reality. And he finds himself and develops himself in this alternate reality and finds his vision. And the way the dream starts out, it's very vague. It's like, well, what is this other reality? And, what does this machine look like, right? And it's like this vague dream, right? Dreams are very symbolic. But if you analyze your dreams enough, they become very clear. And then you can explain them, you can teach them. And the way that you articulate that dream is so powerful that other people will begin to adopt your vision and follow you on your path. And this is what he learns how to do. And he was stuck on this other side for such a long period of time because he didn't know how to get back, right? And getting back is kind of like, okay, well, how do you pick up where you left off and reunite with the people you used to be around? The ones that you didn't know how to effectively communicate with. And he had to understand himself enough to be able to understand them. He had to understand his dream and his vision and get very specific about it as a goal and as a reality, and had to fine-tune it enough to be able to understand it enough to develop the ability and the information needed in order to cross back. And when he figures out how to cross back to that machine, he's able to then open the eyes of everyone else that he used to be around, everyone that he left behind. And in doing that, his dream, his vision was so powerful and so clear-cut and distinct. And his dream was his reality. And people saw this reality and they saw this vision, and they no longer looked at him as this quirky, weird kid. Because in their combined feelings of desperation and frustration, and then seeing him who has completely stepped out of that situation, they took him seriously and they followed him. And he developed this tribe of people who subscribed to his vision, and he was able to bring them back with him, right? And this is kind of like wealth manifestation. It's kind of like you can find a system, milk the system to the point where you become a millionaire or a billionaire, right? You make this thing, right? Like a touchscreen cell phone or something like that, right? An MP3 player, a MacBook, right? And you discover how to make this thing, and you make a ton of money off of it, and then bam, you're successful. But like, it's lonely at the top because you've manifested your own wealth, but that's not where it stops. Because the real trick is not necessarily manifesting your own wealth, but getting people to do the same, so that you're not the only wealthy ones. You're not the only wealthy ones surrounded by poverty. People who subscribe to a mindset of poverty. So he figures out, he develops enough charisma. He understands himself so well that he understands everyone else, right? Because you can figure out everyone else's psychology if you're able to master your own. Because a big part of mastering your own psychology is muting your ego. Because wealth manifestation takes a certain amount of power to suppress ego, so that you can see something else. It's not you and then them, it's us. And so he figures out how to form us, and that's how he becomes a leader and leads the people out. This is the vision. So bringing it back to me, and I wrote a book about it, but bringing it back to me, my vision is not just to live in a mansion or be financially free or be popular, right? That's not my vision. My vision is to do what this oddball kid did. To be that one lone wolf who learned a bunch of stuff, figured it out, brought it back, and then shared it. And shared it in a way where it influenced other people to come with me to the great beyond in this new reality. So I'm not necessarily talking about this new reality as like an alternative dimension, but a new reality as in lifestyle.